Some houseplants do way more than just sit around and look pretty. From purifying the air to catching flies, these green heroes are actually useful. Today, we're talking about the most interesting and surprisingly helpful plants you can keep at home. The Venus flytrap, or Dionaea muscipula, isn't your average houseplant. While most plants quietly soak up sunlight, this one goes on the offensive. It actually eats bugs. With its alien-like appearance and fast movement, it's one of the most fascinating plants in the world, and it's been capturing people's curiosity for centuries. Originally from the subtropical wetlands of North and South Carolina, the Venus flytrap evolved in poor, sandy soil that lacked essential nutrients. To survive, it developed an unusual strategy: catching and digesting insects. Its traps are actually modified leaves with tiny trigger hairs inside. When a fly or spider crawls across and touches one hair, nothing happens. But if it touches two hairs in quick succession, or the same hair twice within about 20 seconds, the trap snaps shut in less than a second. That's not just cool, it's efficient. The plant knows not to waste energy on a random movement like raindrops or wind. Once the trap closes, the plant begins digesting its prey. It releases enzymes that slowly break down the insect over the course of several days. After it's done absorbing all the nutrients, the trap reopens, ready to go again. But there's a catch. Each trap can only close about 3 to 5 times before it stops working. That's why Venus flytraps don't just snap at anything, they have to make each meal count. Caring for one at home is a bit more involved than your usual pothos or succulent. They need distilled or rainwater. Tap water is too harsh. They also need bright light, preferably several hours of direct sunlight a day or a strong grow light. The soil should stay damp but not waterlogged, and during winter the plant enters a dormant phase. Its leaves may blacken and die back, but don't worry, it's just resting and will come back in spring. Skipping this dormant period can actually shorten the plant's lifespan. A lot of people are tempted to feed them bits of hamburger or cooked food, but that's a bad idea. Venus flytraps only digest live insects, and giving them the wrong food can kill them. Despite their wild appearance, they're still plants, not pets. What makes the Venus flytrap so loved is its mix of beauty and strangeness. It feels like nature showing off, a tiny green creature that moves, hunts, and thrives in its own quiet, eerie way. Whether you're into science, plants, or just things that are a little weird and wonderful, the Venus flytrap is a true original. Aloe vera is one of those plants that almost everyone has heard of, and for good reason. It's not just pretty to look at. This plant is a multitasker. From skincare to air purification, aloe vera is like the quiet overachiever of the plant world. It's been used for thousands of years across different cultures, and even today, it's a go-to for anyone who loves natural remedies or just wants a low-maintenance, good-looking plant around. The plant itself is striking, with thick, fleshy green leaves that grow in a rosette pattern. Inside those leaves is the famous clear gel, cool, soothing, and packed with nutrients. That gel is what makes aloe vera so popular in skincare and home remedies. Got a sunburn? Aloe. Minor cut or burn in the kitchen? Aloe. Dry skin? Again, aloe. It's full of vitamins like A, C, and E, as well as antioxidants and enzymes that help soothe and repair the skin. Some people even use a little of the gel in their hair or on their face as part of their beauty routine. Beyond skincare, aloe vera also has a reputation for helping with air quality. It's known to absorb some common indoor pollutants and release oxygen, which makes it a nice addition to bedrooms or living spaces. And since it stores water in its leaves, it doesn't need much from you, just a sunny spot and occasional watering. It's great for people who are new to plants or tend to forget about them from time to time. Aloe vera is technically a succulent, so it prefers dry conditions and well-draining soil. Overwatering is one of the few ways you can actually mess things up with this plant. It likes warmth, hates frost, and thrives in bright, indirect sunlight. If it starts getting too much direct sun, especially through a window, the leaves can get a little sunburned. Ironic, considering how well it helps you with sunburns. Some people also use aloe vera juice for digestive health, though that's a little more complicated, and not all types are safe for internal use, unless they're specifically prepared for that. So unless you really know what you're doing, it's better to stick with the gel for external use. There's something calming about having an aloe vera plant around. It asks for very little, and yet it gives so much. Whether you want it for its soothing gel, its sculptural beauty, or just the feeling of having a healing plant nearby, aloe vera is a classic for a reason. Timeless, useful, and quietly powerful. Lavender is one of those plants that instantly makes you feel calmer just by thinking about it. With its soft purple blooms and signature scent, it's become a symbol of peace, relaxation, and simple beauty. But beyond being a favorite in gardens and essential oils, lavender is also surprisingly useful to keep around, whether it's in a pot, on your windowsill, or dried in a little bundle near your bed. What makes lavender so special isn't just how it looks, though. Let's be honest, it's stunning. It's that fresh, clean scent that makes people stop and take a deep breath. The smell of lavender has been shown to reduce stress, ease anxiety, and even help with sleep. That's why you'll find it in so many things: candles, bath products, teas, sprays. But there's something really nice about going straight to the source and growing the real plant yourself. Lavender is also a natural insect repellent. The same calming fragrance that relaxes us is something mosquitoes, moths, and flies would rather avoid. Keeping a lavender plant near an open window or doorway can help keep bugs out, all while making your space smell amazing. And when the flowers dry, they keep their scent for a long time, so you can cut and hang small bundles around the house, tuck them into drawers, or even make little sleep sachets. Caring for lavender is pretty simple if you give it what it likes. It's a Mediterranean plant, which means it loves sun and doesn't like wet feet. It needs a lot of light, ideally several hours of direct sunlight a day, and well-draining soil. Water it sparingly, letting the soil dry out between waterings. It actually does better with a bit of neglect than too much attention. And when it blooms, those purple flowers aren't just beautiful, they're also edible. And people sometimes use them to flavor desserts, drinks, or teas. Whether you grow it indoors in a pot or plant it outside in a sunny spot, lavender brings a sense of calm to whatever space it's in. It doesn't just look good, it feels good to have nearby. The energy of the plant is soft and steady, perfect for bedrooms, reading corners, or anywhere you want to unwind. Lavender is one of those plants that quietly makes life a little better. No drama, no fuss, just a lovely, fragrant reminder to slow down, breathe deeper, and enjoy the little things. Mint and basil are two of the most rewarding plants you can grow at home. They don't just sit there looking pretty, they actually do things. From adding flavor to your meals to freshening up a room or even boosting your mood, these herbs are simple, useful, and just really nice to have around. Let's start with mint. It's cool, refreshing, and kind of a show-off in the best way. Once it starts growing, it really grows. Mint loves to spread out, which is great if you're using it often. You can pinch off a few leaves for tea, toss some in cold water for a refreshing drink, or use it in cooking things salads, desserts, or anything with chocolate. And the smell? Super fresh, clean, and energizing. Just brushing your hand against the leaves releases that crisp scent that instantly perks you up. Basil, on the other hand, brings a warm, slightly sweet aroma that's just as comforting. It's most famous for pairing with tomatoes hello, caprese salad, and fresh pasta. But it can also be used in smoothies, sauces, and even cocktails. There's something satisfying about grabbing a handful of basil leaves you've grown yourself and turning them into pesto. It smells like summer and feels a little magical. Both of these herbs are more than just kitchen stars, though. They also help purify the air, and their scents can have a subtle calming or uplifting effect, depending on your mood. Some people keep basil on windowsills not just for the smell, but because it's said to attract positive energy. Mint, meanwhile, is often used to freshen indoor spaces and can even help deter pests like ants and flies. They're also really easy to grow, even if you don't have a lot of space or experience. A sunny windowsill and regular watering is pretty much all they need. Mint prefers slightly moist soil and will grow like crazy if it's happy, so it's often better to keep it in its own pot to stop it from taking over. Basil likes warmth and a bit more sun, and it doesn't mind being trimmed. In fact, regular pinching helps it grow fuller. What makes mint and basil so great is how instantly useful they are. They're the kind of plants that become part of your daily life without even trying. One moment they're decorating your kitchen, the next they're in your tea, your salad, or your self-care routine. They're simple, fresh, and full of life, and that's what makes them so special. The snake plant, also known as Sansevieria or Dracaena trifasciata, is the kind of houseplant that basically takes care of itself. It's bold, stylish, and practically indestructible, making it perfect for beginners, busy people, or anyone who wants something cool and low maintenance. With its tall, upright leaves that look like green swords edged in yellow or silver, it adds a modern touch to any space: clean, minimal, and just a little bit dramatic. But looks aside, the snake plant is actually one of the most useful houseplants you can keep. It's known for its ability to purify the air, removing toxins like formaldehyde, benzene, and xylene. What's especially interesting is that, unlike most plants, it continues to release oxygen at night. That makes it an excellent choice for bedrooms it's working while you're sleeping, helping keep the air a little cleaner and fresher. Caring for a snake plant is almost effortless. It thrives on neglect. It doesn't mind if you forget to water it now and then. In fact, it prefers to dry out completely between waterings. Too much water is one of the few things that can harm it, so if in doubt, it's better to wait. It also does well in a variety of lighting conditions. It loves bright, indirect light, but it'll survive in low light too. Office corners, bathrooms, even spots without windows. It's basically one of the few houseplants that won't throw a fit if you don't baby it. And if you're into energy or vibes, a lot of people believe the snake plant helps protect the home from negative energy and brings in strength and resilience. It stands tall and firm, even when conditions aren't ideal, and that kind of quiet toughness is something a lot of people appreciate. Another bonus, it grows slowly so you don't need to repot it often or worry about it taking over your space. It just sits there, looking cool, cleaning the air, and doing its thing. If you want it to grow faster, you can give it more light, but even in dim corners, it'll hang in there. The snake plant is the perfect blend of form and function, sculptural, stylish, and surprisingly helpful. Whether you're decorating a new apartment, trying to add some green to your workspace, or just want a plant you can't mess up, this one fits right in. It's the strong, silent type of the plant world, and honestly, sometimes that's exactly what you need. Geraniums are the kind of plants that just make you feel at home. With their bright, cheerful blooms and gently scented leaves, they have an old-fashioned charm that somehow never goes out of style. Whether they're lined up in window boxes, sitting on a sunny balcony, or growing in a simple clay pot by the front door, geraniums always bring warmth, color, and a little bit of joy wherever they are. They're one of those plants that have been loved for generations. Maybe your grandmother grew them, or maybe you remember seeing them in someone's garden as a kid. There's something comforting and familiar about them, but they're also surprisingly versatile. With so many colors to choose from, reds, pinks, whites, purples, even two-toned varieties, they can feel classic or fresh, depending on how you use them. What makes geraniums so appealing isn't just their looks, though. They're hardy, easy to care for, and generous with their blooms. As long as they get plenty of sunlight at least 4 to 6 hours a day and their soil isn't constantly soaked, they'll reward you with flowers that seem to keep coming. You just need to deadhead the old blooms to encourage new ones, and they'll keep growing throughout the season. Many types of geraniums also have fragrant leaves, with scents like lemon, rose, mint, or even chocolate. Some people rub a leaf between their fingers just for a little aromatherapy boost. You can even use certain scented geraniums in cooking, teas, or homemade skin products, though it's always best to double-check the type before using it that way. They're also surprisingly useful plants. Geraniums are known for repelling mosquitoes and other pests. That's one of the reasons they're often placed near doors and windows. Their strong scent helps keep unwanted insects at bay in the most natural way possible. Growing geraniums indoors is totally doable too, especially if you have a bright window. They don't like cold, so if you live somewhere with frost, you can bring them inside for the winter and keep enjoying their greenery, and maybe even a few blooms until it's warm enough to go back out. Geraniums may not be the flashiest plant, but they have this quiet, dependable beauty that never disappoints. They brighten your space without asking for much in return, and they bring a sense of calm, color, and old-world charm that's easy to love. Whether you're new to plants or just want something that always feels good to come home to, a geranium is a lovely little companion. Rosemary is one of those plants that feels like it belongs in every home. It's more than just a pretty herb, it's a symbol of memory, warmth, and comfort. With its needle-like leaves, earthy fragrance, and rich history, rosemary brings something quietly magical to any space, whether it's sitting on your kitchen windowsill or planted outside in a sunny garden. The scent alone is enough to make people fall in love with it. Just brushing your fingers through the leaves releases a deep, woodsy aroma, part pine, part pepper, part something you can't quite name. It smells like cozy kitchens, roasted potatoes, fresh bread, or walks through Mediterranean hills. And beyond the nostalgia, rosemary's fragrance has been said to boost memory, ease stress, and even help with focus. That's why you'll sometimes see it in essential oils, candles, or tucked into little bundles on a desk or bedside table. Culinary-wise, rosemary is a true workhorse. It pairs beautifully with roasted veggies, meats, breads, and even infused oils. Having a plant nearby means you always have fresh sprigs ready to add a little flavor. And honestly, there's something special about harvesting herbs you've grown yourself. It makes cooking feel more grounded, more alive. But rosemary isn't just about the kitchen. It's also incredibly resilient and low maintenance. It loves the sun, doesn't mind being a bit dry, and can grow indoors or out. Give it a bright spot and well-draining soil, and it'll thrive with just occasional watering. It prefers to be a little neglected rather than over-cared, for which makes it perfect for busy people or beginner plant parents. Historically, rosemary has been seen as a symbol of remembrance and protection. People used to hang it in doorways or carry sprigs for good luck. Even today, it's often used in weddings, memorials, and rituals around the world. There's something timeless about it, like it connects you to something older and wiser than the rush of everyday life. It's also a natural pest repellent, which makes it great for companion planting or keeping on a windowsill near the kitchen. And when it blooms usually in soft blue or purple flowers, it brings even more charm and a little surprise burst of beauty. Rosemary has this way of fitting in without shouting for attention. It's useful, grounded, and subtly beautiful, the kind of plant that feels like a quiet friend. Whether you're cooking dinner, clearing your mind, or just wanting a bit of greenery that actually gives back, rosemary is the kind of plant that makes everyday life feel just a little richer. May your home always have a place for greenery, comfort, and good feelings. See you in the next video.